back to the Muay Thai Guys podcast with Sean Fagan. The man, you're looking real spiritual back there with the little
I
yoga
got my
mat behind you.
T-shirt. I got my spiritual background. Man, just changing the vibe up a little bit,
Things are getting really
Sometimes you gotta do
trippy.
that.
You go and move to an island for a couple weeks and things change. I'm surprised you don't have
Dude, I
braids.
I just feel so much more in tune with myself and nature, bro. It's just the island speaks to me,
Yeah, I see
man.
you've become a part of nature. You started to look like a tree for like a day. In one of your Instagram videos, it was kind of dark. It looked like you had bark on your shoulder.
That's what it feels like, and it's like itchy as fuck. And it's been a trip, man. I haven't really enjoyed it. Had to push my fight back because of it, because it's contagious, and I can't like go to the gym and train with it and shit, and they won't allow me to fight with it. So I'm all doped up on antibiotics and all this shit because of it. But
Man, so it's been
guess
a
it is what
crazy
it is.
journey. Since you left, I had Onion on the podcast, and I might have maybe Chris Mauseri back on it soon while you're out there in Thailand. So we'll keep pushing those things. But it's been like a month now. It's been like 3, 4 weeks since you moved. So what's been new? I know we're going to get into the main topic of training twice a day and things like that, but I think covering all the bases of you moving out to Thailand, bringing your dog out there with you, shopping for a house, it's a big deal. It's a big move because you made it official. I just went into a bunk bed inside a camp. It's different when you're moving a whole family out there.
Yeah, dude, moving my dog here was one of the most stressful things I've ever had to fucking do. And like everything went relatively smoothly, but man, I mean, there's just stray dogs everywhere, and then having to worry about her on the plane and people being extremely rude at JFK, and then just and then taking her on a ferry and then taking her on a bus and then all this kind of shit. It was a lot, and we had so much fucking luggage because we moved pretty much all our shit, So we have like six huge things of luggage plus a dog crate that we're trying to like move around on a fucking boat, and it's just it was not fun, but we
I
made
can
it.
picture that. I tell people all the
Yeah,
time when they go to Thailand to just pack light, especially if you're trying to see different parts of the country, is to just get 2 t-shirts, 2 pairs of underwear. If you even wear underwear, don't be a little bitch. Just use your little bug gun and air dry it out.
yeah. I mean, we we probably overpacked, but because we knew we were gonna be staying out here for long term, we want to make
You're
sure we
moving.
had.
You're literally moving to
Yeah,
Thailand.
yeah, but we also like packed some shit that we just didn't need, and that's just part of the process, though. And yeah, we found a sweet spot right next to the gym, like literally a 2 minute walk behind the gym. It's a good area for our dog too, because there's not a lot of stray dogs, so we're able to walk her without worrying about her trying to start fights with other bitches and stuff. And yeah, man, life has been good. I was in a good training flow. Liz is teaching yoga full time. She's like the full time yoga teacher at Diamond Muay Thai now. It just kind of happened to work out that way. And we got our first camp coming up in about a week or so. And we're going to be having about 20 people coming here to train with. And yeah, man, life is good. Can't complain. Besides the shingles epidemic that I'm dealing with, but other than that, I've been able to do a little bit of mental work and uh, like online work as well. So just making the most of it, because what the fuck are you gonna do, right? I can sit in my shit and be like, oh, poor me. I got this nasty shit. You could probably see some of it. It's all like on my chest and my back. But yeah, it was not pleasant. It has not been pleasant to deal with. It's itchy like a motherfucker, and it's really agitated easily by sun and sweat. And so almost anything I do is just very uncomfortable.
So you went to a medicine man. You got these spots on your neck, you got these spots on your shoulder, and you went to a medicine. What is a medicine man, and what happened out there?
Well, you know Mon, and Mon's very Yoda-like, and so he doesn't do things the conventional way. And he was like,
So
"No, you don't go to doctor."
Sean's talking about an instructor at Diamond Muay Thai. He is a very like Mr. Miyagi Yoda like trainer that will make you
Very,
throw
very.
rocks. You'll throw rocks and go on walks with him for like 30 minutes at a time to figure out how to loosen up your body or to get the nice stride and things like that. So just to explain to you guys.
Yeah, so Mon recommended me to go or he didn't recommend me. He told me to go see this medicine man and not to go to the hospital. They don't take care of you at the hospital. Just go see the medicine man. He'll take care of you. And so I drive literally to like the other side of the island, bro, like all the way to Chalakalum, or however you pronounce it,
Yeah.
all the way up there, and go to this house like in the middle of the jungle. And there's this old woman there, and I walk up to her, and she's told me just sit down and wait. And then like I wait like a half hour, and then this old man comes out of like the woods with like with a glass eye. I'm not making this shit up. With a glass eye, he's like 5 foot, like hunched over with like a cane, like hobbling over to me. He just starts to look at like everything on my neck and my back, and he's like, and he just nods his head. He walks inside. He starts like making something inside like a little like bowl and masher and stuff. I was like, oh, cool. So he'll probably like put this stuff on me. Sounds good.
Sounds
But
like a
the way
legit
he
movie.
yeah, but the way he made me sit down in the lawn, I was sitting down on the lawn cross-legged. I was like, okay, like this is normal, I guess. And then all of a sudden, he goes behind me or to the side of me, and puts that stuff, whatever he made, in the mouth and spit it on me, like all over me. And like the first time he did that, I was like, what the fuck? Like what is happening?
Which is
And I couldn't even comprehend, like, is this real life? Is this what's happening right now? And he must have done that like 20 more times. And I was covered in this like mud type of shit all over my neck. They tell me not to shower and to leave it there for the rest of the day. I'm like, okay. And to come back in three for the next 3 days to do it over again. I was like, yeah, sure. I'll be sure to do that. And so after that, I kind of realized that, well, first off, I took a shower and made sure to get that shit off, because I let it sit for like an hour or two, but I didn't want that stuff on me for too long. And then after that, I mean, it didn't seem to get much better that night or the next day. So I kind of just made a decision to go to the hospital, and they actually took tests, and they could actually figure out what the fuck it was, because I had no idea what it was. And then they told me it was shingle. First, they told me it was herpes. I was like, wait, what? Like herpes of
Like
the
a
neck
million
and
forms
back?
of it, right?
Yeah, but like Liz is in the room next to me, and she turns like ghost white, like he has herpes. Like, what the fuck, Sean? Like, what are you doing? And
Where
we
you
both
been?
I know, right? Getting fucked in the neck. I don't know what the hell's going on, but but she looks like a ghost. I was like super confused, and the doctor's like, "Don't worry, it's not STD. It's just skin infection, and it's apparently something that I have like inside my body all the time, but it only comes out at certain points where my skin gets super irritated due to, most likely it was sunburn and sun poisoning this time, and it also had a bacterial infection on it as well. So it kind of was like a 1-2, you know." So they gave me a bunch of fucking medicine. I've been taking like 5 to 8 pills a day. I got a cream, and they suggested that I rest and try not to sweat in it too much. This way it could heal up. So yeah, that's about it. And I had the fight scheduled for the 28th, which is about less than a week from today.
Yeah.
But I haven't been able to do shit for about a week. And I was debating whether or not to take the fight, but then I talked to Simon and Jesse of Diamond Muay Thai, and they're like, "Nah, man, just push it back. Just push it back a week or two, and it won't be a big deal at all. It's not like they set shit in stone here on the islands anyway." And so they would rather me not be at the gym, and because someone at the gym also got dengue fever, so there's a lot of like shit going on
I heard that
at the
is a
gym.
nightmare.
Yeah, and so they quarantined him off at the hospital. I'm not as bad, so I can like hang out and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were just telling me they prefer me to heal up and rest up, just to make sure that no one else gets it, and yeah, take it from there. So hopefully I'll be fighting in like early mid-April. So it changes my plans a little bit. I was hoping to fight 3 times in 3 months. It's still definitely a possibility, but it makes it a little bit more difficult.
Maybe it'll
So
school them in week by week, Thai style.
yeah. Yeah, you never know, man. You never fucking know. I mean, there's always opportunities for it. So I'll just have to take it as it comes, see how I feel after each fight, and take it from there.
Yeah, it's always interesting. You kind of learn how to fight with a black shin and a body that doesn't work. So when shit pops off later in life, like for me, then you're like, well, I did it 3 weeks in a row when my body just wasn't working. So I'll figure it out. Like right now, I've been sick. I've been sick this entire training camp. This weather here is ridiculous out here in New England. We have
Dude.
three storms in the past 3 weeks, like those nor'easterns or whatever they call them. Yeah, they had
Yeah, I've
three.
been seeing my family go through that shit. I'm like, wow, thank God I left when I fucking left, because
Yeah, I'd
that
rather be
stuff does.
sick in Thailand than be sick out here, 100%. But I'm so
So
used to it.
how's things going on your end, man? Because yeah, we haven't even caught up too much since I moved out here, because obviously
No.
the time difference, and we're both training for fights. So yeah, just what's going on, bro?
Glory's going on. We're going to Hollywood. We got the golden ticket, so we're gonna
Got the
be
golden
flying out.
ticket.
Yeah, it's interesting. I always like to share this stuff because it's on the podcast, so it's transparent with our audience. It's funny how things work. I ended up cutting off all my connections with different promotions, and including a lion fight. And then I kind of thought about like, man, it would have been nice to have these good paychecks to come back to while living in Thailand, because I do plan on moving out there to Thailand again, especially for our camp out there in July and August, and then staying long term again, doing a one-way ticket. And just inside, just whatever the personal reasons were, I thought that I'm going to cut this off and then figure whatever happens out from there. I might have cut off some connections that I should have, that could have benefited me. But in the end, everything happens for a reason, man. Because the very next day, got a call from, I mean, probably three of the world's biggest promotions, and one of them being Glory. They gave me Zach Wells, who's a Ludwig guy, and I was like, what? For the first time, I have an opponent that has my experience level. I was like, he has his 4-0. He had 4 fights, 4-0. I'm like, this is a blessing. A bigger guy, way bigger than me, like 6'5" and a little thicker. But to me, that's like a godsend to get that kind of opponent. I'm used to, 60 plus fight veterans and just guys way higher level that I'm not supposed to beat. And then a week passes and they take him away because it seems like the tournament kind of fell apart. Simon Marcus is now fighting him. They passed him to him. And now I'm fighting Troy Jones, who's another really good up-and-coming prospect. He was undefeated as an amateur, I believe. Also tall, lanky fighter, very technical on Team USA. So I think it's a great matchup because it's going to be a pretty fight. Two of the best technicians in that weight class. I'm dropping down to 170. That's another fun one. So on 17 days notice, they tell me I got to drop an extra 17 pounds. And while I'm like coughing up my lungs as they tell me this, I'm like, all right, sounds good, man. Whatever. It is what it is. What are you going to complain about? I just start running more, start eating more avocados.
Yeah, that's an exciting matchup, man. It's funny too, because you guys are both Muay Thai technicians in a kickboxing ring, so it should be interesting to see if you guys end up fighting a Muay Thai style fight or if you decide to go the kickboxing route. But either way, yeah, both of you are awesome competitors. He was a gold medalist on USA, and we signed him to Knock Muay Nation sponsorship. Go fucking figure. So we got Knock Muay Nation guys fighting each other now, which is I know, it's just the way of the world, man. Just the way of the world. Yeah. You gotta stop picking fights with all these guys, man.
Well, man, I was here first, so I kind of got to set the standard.
That is true. Hell yeah. So, yeah, man, that's super exciting. And it's funny how the universe sometimes works in mysterious ways as I speak with this background behind me. But I mean, it's unfortunate what's going on with Lion Fight. There's a lot of drama going on between them and fighter payout and all these other kinds of things. So it's just a shame because they've been doing a great job promoting the sport and everything, but they've kind of made a couple bad decisions, in my opinion, on just how they went about their promotion and treating their fighters and stuff. So as much as it's a bitter pill to swallow, not being a part of their promotion for you, I mean, I think it's a good thing because ultimately you're going to be opening yourself up to other promotions. And like you said, those three big promotions reach out to you. So there's opportunity out there. And one FC just started a new kickboxing promotion sometime soon as well. So you never know where the path is going to take you.
Yeah, honestly, I just, for the growth of the sport, I just want to support whoever is the one pushing it the most and the most reliable in a way. But at the end of the day, you know, I was speaking with the guys at Evolve, and you can be a fan of them all. Joe Rogan talks about this a lot, or like Brandon Schaub as well. They're like, "Oh, I thought you were a fan of this guy. I thought you were a fan of boxing. I thought you were a fan of MMA." It's like, no, like you can be a fan of MMA and boxing. You had that picture of Dana White. He was sitting at the UFC watching the Wilder fight at like cage side during one of the prelim fights. And it's like, yeah, he's a fan of boxing, even though he owns the UFC and sees that, there's room for growth in all of them. So I'm really excited for all these promotions. And yeah, it seems like there's just more opportunity for everyone. So looking forward to it, man. And dropping down to 170, I think I'm going to be super lean. I have some new tricks up my sleeve. I've been working on a lot of stuff. I think I had the perfect training partners. I showed up at the Institute this past Sunday, and the first guy I had is a 185er that fought for glory, that fought against Dustin Jacoby, that fought against Mike Lemaire. So he was real, good, intense, heavy guy, like 220 for me to spar with. And then I had two guys that were probably like 6'4", 6'5", and Muay Thai technicians, just like Troy. So, man, I just had the perfect sparring partners, everything skill-wise, like, whatever is going on with my body, whatever it is, man. I think skill-wise, I've just had like great, great, great work. So I'm really looking forward to just putting it on display for everyone. Like this one, I'm excited, not even for the fight, not even, for the promotion and the show and everything. The main part is I'm excited to show what I've been working on, what I can do.
Well, that's what the big time promotions are there for, man, because this way you can actually show it off to the world and show all the work they've been putting in on the background. Because like a lot of people don't realize how much work goes into training for a fight. They only see the finished product, and I mean, that's the big show, man. That's the time to shine. So I know the stuff that you've been putting in. And so it's just a matter of time to find this type of promotion that's willing to showcase the stuff that you've been working on. So yeah, much love, man. I mean, taking that short notice fight in New York is going to pay off in the long run, even though you dealt with the injury and ended up getting that close loss. I mean, it's all the universe, man. It's all the universe.
So moving on to your training coming up for your fight, I know you've been going through a lot of this stuff. I'm sure we talked about like a year ago now after I came back from Namsak Noise and living in Thailand, training there. You have a good relationship with the guys there. It's not as militant, so I know you guys kind of have a good relationship talking to each other and communicating everything that's going on. They're obviously very understanding. And just going into and transitioning into the main topic of doing the 2-a-days, because you had a rather lengthy post talking about it. And before you even get into it, I want to make a comment on a lot of the people that were commenting. It's tough to read the advice and the opinion of people that aren't full-time fighters training for a fight, because I think people need to understand that the 2-a-day in America is not the same as a 2-a-day in Thailand. It doesn't mean it's 2 classes in a row. It doesn't mean it's 2 hours or even 4 hours. And it also doesn't mean it's the same when you're a practitioner, meaning you're going in there for fitness or you're going in there for a fight, because the two are just completely different worlds. And I've done it both ways, where I paid, and then I've done it in a way where they knew I'm a fighter from the get-go, and it's just two different stories, two different types of training.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that goes into it, and when I made the post, I knew I was going to get a lot of feedback one way or another, whether they agree with me or
Yeah.
disagree. But I kind of wanted to start the conversation just to get people talking about it. And I appreciate everyone's feedback and everyone's comments, and everyone was pretty respectful about it. So I have no problem with that at all. But when it comes down to it, I have a very I I don't care about what anybody thinks about me. I've come to that conclusion. It took me a while to get to it, but I know what works best for me and what type of training methods, how long, and what I should be working on. And at this point in my career, I've been training for over 7 years now. I've done the 2 days in Thailand multiple times, and I just know that when it comes down to it, training once a day just works out better for me. And this doesn't mean just this means training Muay Thai once a day. That doesn't mean that I'm not running in the morning. It doesn't mean that I'm not doing yoga in the morning or doing some type of mental work and mental preparation at night. Like there's other forms of training besides the physical Muay Thai, pad work, bag work that a lot of people don't really consider. You can study your fights. You can study other people's fights. You can watch fights from Lumpini and stuff and take some techniques. You can journal. You can do a shit ton of things. And so I've just come to the realization that when I train twice a day, I end up. I think this is important though because I end up hating training because all I'm doing is fucking training, sleeping, and eating, and I think it's important to go through that and be able to build the mental toughness and the mental reserve of knowing that you are capable of doing that, and it might work for some people, and it might be the best way to go about it in some cases, but I think you have to go through it in order to have a good perspective on whether or not it's going to work for you long term. And I'm moving to Thailand, man. And if I'm going to be here for at the very least 2 years. If I'm doing 2 days straight for 2 years without any type of fun, with any type of diversity, without any type of life, I'm going to lose my fiance who I'm marrying soon. That's just not going to work out. And B, I'm like, I moved to the island specifically because I love the guys at Diamond Muay Thai. They're my homies, and the trainers at Diamond Muay Thai are top level. Now, a lot of people will see Diamond Muay Thai as more of a casual gym, and it really is. I mean, a lot of people who are first timers come there, but the benefit of at least me being my size is that all the trainers are about my size too, and there's trainers with 300, 400 fucking fights that I'm able to work with, spar with, clinch with, that I'm able to get a lot of work in. And coming full circle about the training twice a day. So even though I'm training once a day, I'm only training like 1 hour less than I would be training if I was training twice a day. I'm just bashing it together a little bit more because what I've come to realize is that if I were to train 2 to 3 hours in the morning and then have a break in between and then 2 to 3 hours at night, the anxiety and like resentment I get towards the second training session builds up so like immediately after I'm done with the first session. I don't have any like time to mentally take a fucking break and be like, all right, now I have the rest of the day just to chill and relax. No, I don't. I have to take a nap, but it has to be a quick nap because I have to wake up and eat and get prepared for the second training session. And so that's one reason why I think doing the extended one session a day is more beneficial for me. And then secondly, to give you a physical break, because if you're training 8 to 10 in the morning and then 4 to 6 at night, which is the training schedule here at Diamond, you're getting 6 to 8 hours in between all the sessions, which just isn't enough time for your body to completely recover and heal up. Whereas if I'm training 6 to 8 one night and then 6 to 8 the next night and 6 to 8 the other night, or 6 to 9 or whatever I end up doing, it gives me a full 24 hours for my body to recover. And this way I'm able to do something light in the morning, whether it's yoga or running or whatever it may be. And it's just something that has been a lot more insightful to kind of take a step back and look at. And it kind of tough mentally because you think, oh shit, I should be training twice a day. I mean, like the Thais train twice a day And so if I'm not training twice a day, I'm not getting to the same level as
Then you
they
also
are.
have the option of doing that as well. Then it becomes exciting because now it's extra work because you're still putting in almost the same amount of time. And then if you have the need, then you can also do that as well.
Yeah, I broke down the actual time that I'd be training throughout the week. I I think it ends up being throughout the week like 3 hours or 4 hours less than what I'd be doing if I was training twice a day. So like, what the fuck is like not that big of a difference, and I'm getting a lot more focused training in that way as well. So, I mean, like I said, everyone has their own way of going about things. This is the way I go about it. And it took a while for me to come to the conclusion and be okay with it because on the inside, it'd be eating at me thinking that I'm just making excuses to not train twice a day. Like I'm just being a lazy bitch. Like, why can't I train twice a day? I'm here in Thailand and that kind of stuff. But when I did some actual soul searching and I journaled it all out and really went deep into what I'm trying to accomplish in this life, I realized that I'm much more of a extended one a day type of guy. So this way I can work on other aspects of my training, other aspects of my life, and do it the right way. So yeah, that post, I've been trying to post more insightful,
Yeah, I've
lengthy
noticed.
stuff on Instagram just to share a little bit more insight. I mean, I've kind of realized that I lost touch with my, excuse me, my fan base and my audience. And so I'm trying to get a little bit more, just more in in touch with them again. So I do what I can.
Yeah, I think that there's a number of ways of looking at it, and I don't think any one of them is wrong or right, and it always depends on someone's personality. I think the only wrong way is to try to force your opinion onto someone else, because out of all people that have had all three experiences and all like three mindsets that I can think of, can like safely say that I've never forced my opinion onto someone else, meaning like this is what you should be doing, this is what you shouldn't be doing, and then I spend my time like judging you based on what you do. I see a lot of coaches complaining about stuff and saying like people are going to these gyms or they're not putting in the right work or they're doing this, they're doing that. And it's like I'm a person that spent a lot more time than all these guys complaining about it. I'm a guy that lived in the camp of someone that was a lot more militant than most of these guys are in the sponsor camps of. And I still don't share that opinion and judgment onto someone else. I don't know why you even care to waste your energy to do that. If anything, you should just be providing more of your energy to figure out what's best for you or for your fighters. I think one way of looking at it, I know some people's opinion was that, well, it makes you stronger. It makes you mentally tougher if you just keep doing it because, like, you just eventually adapt to it. And although I did that, what did it come at the cost of? It came at the cost of me going completely numb. Just mentally, I had to completely shut off. And if you talk to a lot of one percenters, they all say that is that that type of work and that numbness comes with the sacrifice of pretty much your own soul. And it's not just like a sexy way of talking. It's literally what happens. You have to shut off because that's just the type it is. Like I've been watching that show Vikings, right? Like they do some barbaric shit and it's like, yeah, man, like they're tougher than the English lads and things like that because of how how they were raised, grew up, they were made to watch pretty much people being slaughtered in front of them as kids, and that numbs you to that. But then you're obviously losing a part of yourself. Hey man, it's fucking 2018 at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And we do have the benefit of looking at more scientific methods and smarter ways of going about it rather than, oh, Paul has a staph infection and he has inflammation in the knee and staph in his knee, go run it off for 8K, you know? Because why did my knee just separate and blow up before my fight while I was stretching? Not because I was stretching. It was the past year and a half of trauma and not taking care of it, not doing yoga, not taking any breaks. I became numb to pain, essentially. Like, oh, I'm injured, I'm supposed to just run through this. Oh, I'm injured and I'm taking antibiotics, I'm supposed to just train through this. And that's what I've been doing for the past 2 months. And I've had a chest infection for the past 2 fucking months because I never fucking took care of it. And it's because that mindset is still instilled in me from the time of that I was in Thailand. So I mean, I don't even have advice to share for you, like, oh, you should do it this way or do it that way, because I did it my way. And in some ways it benefited me, and in other ways it's fucking with my body. So I think people just need to make their own decisions. Just like I think that's the biggest complaint recently with religion, is that they're like, oh, that's great. Like, yeah, you should. It's nice to have a blueprint telling you what is good, what is not right. But how about you just come up with your own set of thoughts and feelings about what is right and what is being a good person and what is not through experience.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot that goes off of what you were saying. And one of the things that kind of resonated with me was that there's a quote, I forgot how it goes, but essentially like a wise man feels what an average man says, or something to that extent, where you actually have to go through the experiences and get a feeling for what it's like to train twice a day, what it's like to get a staph infection and then run it off. And it all sounds like romanticized to those who don't do it. And it sounds like, oh yeah, I could do that. And maybe you could.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you fucking could. I don't know. But like, the thing is that, like, it's not fucking easy. And like, you have to weigh out the pros and the cons. And the people who are talking about, like, you have to throw yourself all into it. What does that mean though? Would that means something completely different to each individual. And when it comes down to it, each individual has their own set of opinions and own sets of values and own sets of ways of doing things. So like you said, there's no point on pressing people to do what you think is right, because ultimately that's just like an insecurity thing for you to be trying to push your values and your opinions on other people because you feel like you're not doing enough on your side. So you have to be telling other people what they should be doing. So this way you can kind of gain some type of control back, you know? And so when a lot of people commented on my post about how I should be doing this way or how I should be doing that way, like I said, I appreciate all the opinions and feedback, but I've matured to a point. And to be honest, a lot of it has come from this coaching course I'm doing with Nii Shobo, that has really just shined a light on the mental side and the emotional side of everything that I'm doing, and being able to come to terms with it and kind of look at it as an observer, outside perspective, as opposed to being in my own mind. And I'm able to like take my emotions and my feelings out and like be more curious about them and dissect them and try to figure out why I'm feeling this way or why I think this way. And when I'm able to do that kind of stuff, I'm able to come to the conclusions a lot quicker and be a lot more decisive, as opposed to waffling around trying to figure out, well, everyone's training twice a day and I'm only training once a day, so I'm going to have this anxiety in me if I don't train twice a day, and so on and so forth, as opposed to just kind of making a decision, man, just deciding that, like, no, like, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. And no one else's opinions fucking matter, man. Because in the end, no one's opinions do fucking matter. And it's so easy to get wrapped up in how other people have done it before and what other people are telling you to do. But I also realized, Liz pointed this out to me. She goes, you haven't lived life like anybody else has lived life. So why would you train Muay Thai the way anybody else trains Muay Thai? You've been doing your own thing this entire time. So why not just keep doing your own thing the way you feel like you should be doing it? I was like, whoa, deep, Liz. I was like, shit.
Good fucking point, man. Good fucking point.
Yeah, so I was just like, wow, that just like put a stamp on it. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like, I know what the fuck I'm doing. I've interviewed the best fighters in the world. I've trained with some of the best fighters in the world, best coaches in the world. I'm the Muay Thai guy, bitch. Like, I put myself into this shit and like really try to learn as much as I can about it. So I'm going to take what I've learned and mold my own schedule, my own way and philosophy of doing things. And that's how I've created my life. And so why not just do that with training?
Well, I think that security comes from experience. And I think I've had insecurity in the past because I didn't have the experience itself. Meaning, oh, if I did it that way, if I did it the roughest way possible. And that's what I always wanted to do is just live in all the extremes and not want to do it at all unless I can really do it like all the way 110%. So that's why I waited and saved up a fuckload of money before I went out there and did that. And then I can speak from the perspective versus just having empty words or thoughts and opinions without anything to back it up. And I think now I get to speak upon it and just kind of review, and I'm secure with whatever the opinions that come upon me are because I was there. Like I don't have to have someone tell me that wasn't, because I've had that experience myself. Like I can look back to when I was at the hotel at Kongsita, let's say. Then I can also look back to when I was transitioning to Namsak Noise and I was sleeping on my friend's living room floor. So I was on a mattress on the living room floor. Did it make me tougher because I was on the living room floor or because I was on a raised bed inside a hotel? Not fucking really, because I went to the gym and I trained for 3 hours, and then that was just a place that I lay down to sleep. How it looked and felt, it has nothing to do with my skill, especially when I'm stepping in the fucking ring. I'm not thinking, man, that time I slept and the bed didn't have a mattress, like the mattress didn't have a second mattress or a bed spring under it. This is for that time. Man, that was like years ago. I don't think about it. It has zero effect. Like it's great if I were to write a book. It sounds fucking awesome for when I write the book to put that in, and I probably will. And that's great for that effect. But for anyone really listening, dude, it doesn't fucking matter. There's people coming out of really pretty looking gyms versus the ones that have like the torn up bags.
Yeah, I mean it's all perspective, and it's all these romanticized stories that you've heard
Y'all
of foreigners in
suckers
the.
for that romance, man.
I mean, yeah, I mean we're living in a new world now. We're not back in the '70s or '80s with or the '90s with like Ramon Deckers and that style, and John Wayne Parr living at a Thai camp and sleeping in the room with 15 other Thais. Like that's like their own unique experience, and we always have that as kind of a. We put it up on a pedestal because these guys, I mean, they're the best. They're the best in the world, and they've put in the work and become legends of the sport because of that. But now it's just a different time, and the way everyone goes about doing things is just different. And so I think it's really important to be able to not conform to everyone else's thoughts and opinions of what you should be doing, and be strong enough and secure enough to know that no, I trust my instincts. I trust my intelligence. I trust my emotions that I'm doing the right thing, and I don't need anybody else telling me what to do. You know?
Yeah, it's amazing that Liz had that little quote for you, just saying, like you're not like anyone else and you've had successes unlike other people within the sport. So why do everything like everyone else? And I had that same little thought process whenever, I've been doing a lot of soul searching myself just on my own, doing a lot of meditation. Since we're in Costa Rica, I've been stretching daily and getting meditation in almost daily as well, not just from
I'll
the prime
tell
mind.
tell Liz that she'll love that.
I was actually going to message her and let her know that because I haven't stopped stretching since then. Some days I don't do as much as I'd like to than others, but I literally have done it every single day since. And I've meditated on most days as well because I found it kind of just pleasing to just sit down and just breathe either before or after a session and to kind of recollect. So before a session, I'll focus on what I want to do and then I'll clear my mind completely. And then after a session, I'll go over the things I went over and then I'll clear out my mind so I can transition to whatever the next part of my day is. And it's been really beneficial. And one of the things I came across as well is I also get people that, reach out and give their opinion, what I should be doing with my career. Obviously, I've been to many places in the world to train and teach. And I've heard philosophies about, just sticking to one camp pretty much forever, just so you have that like home base and you create this kind of relationship with your coaches and training partners, but at the same time, like we talked about in one of the previous podcasts, is I have a constant stimulus and challenge to prove myself everywhere I go, that I'm constantly proving myself and having to be on my A game to prove the point that like I am the shit. And it's not just the videos you see on Instagram, because that's all that stuff is just fictional in a way. It's a couple seconds that you see. So I prove myself wherever I go in person. And then I thought about it as well. Like, what other fighter within their first year of going pro has fought guys probably an accumulation of 300-400 fights altogether? Like, I've never fought anyone my level. I'm always fighting guys either bigger than me, I'm fighting guys heavier than me, with more experience than me by 10x, 15x, however many x, So, and I'm either beating them, knocking them out, or it's a close fight. So why should I be listening to other people's words that aren't fighting on the same level, on the same promotions? And maybe they are, but it took them 10 years to get there. So, whatever everyone else's pace is great. I respect it, but, got to respect your own as well.
Yeah, I think it comes down to just knowing your own truth and knowing what's best for you, and trusting that what you think and what you feel is what's going to be best for you, and taking people's opinions and letting them sit in and trying to weigh out whether or not they are legit or not. But for the most part, when it comes down to it, you got to be your own man or woman. You have to be your own person. You just have to figure out your own shit. And it's a unique situation that you and I are in. We're the only two people doing what we're doing, you know what I mean, in regards to the online world and fighting professionally at the same time. So when everyone else is trying to gauge what we're doing, it's easy to see it on the outside, like I said, on the Instagram and through our emails and through our events and stuff. But when it comes down to it, we feel like in person that we have to prove ourselves every fucking time, because we have this mini like celebrity status to the Muay Thai community, where people are always going to be challenging us and expecting a lot of us. And that kind of is our edge in a way too, because it makes us sharper. It makes us want to be able to just be the best fucking fighters and people that we can be,
It's a stressor that forces you to perform, for sure. It's like, sometimes like you have the manager over your shoulder all the fucking time, and you're like, fuck, this shit sucks, but you're performing well because of it every single time. I've the past 2 weeks, I've actually like just scheduled things out ahead of time, and I said like I'm not gonna be answering emails and all these messages and things like that. And I actually did the normal thing of training twice a day and having the day off, like not thinking about work, because if I'm not working, I'm just sitting there thinking about it. So it's still the same exact thing. But I literally cut it all out, and I completely forgot about it until today because I had to schedule things again. But I was like, oh, this is what it fucking feels like to just train twice a day and have the rest of the day to like sit down and like, massage my fucking glutes, massage my glutes with a lacrosse ball and stretch an extra few minutes and eat and take my time eating and not eating in the car with my food prep as I head to the next session or to Starbucks to write and send out emails and things like that. And just having that regular fighter's life without this on the side, I was like, well, yeah, that's what gives you all that extra brain power, because I'm like, holy shit, like I feel like I have all the energy in the world now. So yeah, everyone has their own battles.
Yeah, mentioning that, I think it's super important to be able to schedule things out. And that's another thing that's really been emphasized in my Killer Instinct coach with Nii Shobo, because a lot of the things that he's teaching, I've already done, but I don't have a system to it. And he's been teaching me these detailed systems of how to schedule my years, schedule my quarters, down to the months, down to the weeks, down to the fucking day, down to the hour. And the fact that I've been able to do this allows me to have more mental energy during the things that I schedule out. It allows me to schedule in breaks, and it allows me to figure out the best way of going about things, because I'm constantly reviewing everything that I've done the past day, the past week, the past month, and adjusting accordingly and learning from whatever mistakes I made or learning from whatever wins I had. And when it comes down to it, that's like the best way I've been able to learn and improve is by tracking things down and journaling and making sure that putting pen to paper, there's something magical about that. And there's something that
Yeah.
like the ideas that you have in your mind are just in your mind until you put it into the physical world by putting it on paper. And I know it's going to sound weird when I'm wearing a Team DM t-shirt and have this spiritual background and stuff. But when it comes down to it, I'm living this amazing life where I get to do what I want, when I want, how I want, because of all these things that I preach. Like, I'm not just saying this shit and expecting people to listen to it because I don't know, because I'm the Muay Thai guy. I'm saying this shit because I'm doing it. I'm actually following through with it, and it's paid dividends, man. I'm able to move to Thailand with my fiance and my dog, and not have to worry about how am I going to make money, how am I going to make a living, and I can train full time. I can do whatever the fuck I want because a lot of it has to do with this planning and scheduling and then reviewing whatever mistakes I made and doing it all and over again. Because when it comes down to it, I mean, I've had a lot of people when I say you should be planning and scheduling stuff down, they're like, yeah, I do that, but then I don't follow through with it and I feel bad. Well, good. You should fucking feel bad. And then you should do it again and try to do it better the next time. You know, like that's how you improve. That's how you learn. It's like going to a gym and sparring and getting your ass kicked and be like, well, I didn't do that good that time, so I'm not going to come back and try it again and try and improve. You know, like it just doesn't make any fucking sense. And
Yeah.
then when people like look at the grand picture, like when you look at the just life over everything involving your training, your work, your relationships, and everything. There's so many different subcategories that go into it. It's so easy to get overwhelmed and just think about one or two of them. And most of the time, for me personally, it's been my online work and my training. And I've neglected other areas of my life because I've just been solely focused on these two. Now, being able to take a step back and schedule other things in, schedule meaningful date nights with Liz, schedule Skype calls with my family, schedule just me time by going to get a massage and reading and that kind of stuff. That has been a fucking game changer, man, because like you, I'm all about like, yo, if you're in it, you're fucking all in it. And the thing about that is that you can be all in it while being all in on different things as well. It's just a matter of knowing how to batch your time, how to be efficient with your time and make the most and do that deep work that we've been talking about recently too, because that deep work is everything, man. With the distractions of phones and social media and other people and everything, it's so easy to start doing work in 5 minutes, check your phone. And that fucks you up. Then you're losing so much productivity and stuff, you know? So it's just a matter of figuring out what works best for you, jotting it down, and then reviewing it and doing it all over again. At least that's my opinion.
No, it's such a big one. And I even see it when I completely put my phone to the side and I give someone my attention without thinking about work, without thinking about training, without thinking about business, without thinking about what my phone is about to do, and just listening to that person and having that kind of communication. The reward from that is so much higher. So especially if like I have a conversation over text, like I hate it now. I've been trying to actually call people to talk to them more often if I can. And besides that, I see it in other people, you know, when they're thinking about something else and they're talking to me, it does really feel disrespectful. I just think a lot of people are just, everyone's zoned out. So everyone's kind of understanding that, like, yeah, I'll talk to you while I'm on my phone, while you talk to me while you're on your phone. We're both not really saying anything or receiving anything, and it's okay. So yeah, that's going to be a big one. So I'll be moving back to Thailand as we spoke before. I think I'm going to spend the first couple weeks doing exactly that, just kind of going up in the mountains in northern Thailand and going through my own mind, going through ideas to just come up with the best ideas that I can. And then getting down to the island for our July and August camp. I'm really looking forward to that because I'm already thinking about all the people that are reaching out, that are looking to come. And I think it would be a great team of people. I think we're going to get to share all these ideas within each other. Everyone's going to be like-minded. I think a lot of people are going to want to learn from each other, not only in the training sense, but also in the mind, as we were talking about right now, and we often do on the podcast. And I'm definitely going to be learning from people as well. So I want to see what happens after the camp, because I think what's going to happen in the camp is going to dictate a lot of what happens later in life and what I'm doing right there on the island and staying in Thailand and the trajectory of my career and things like that. But because I want that, I saw that there still hasn't been a male glory champion. So that kind of
A
got
male
me.
glory champion?
Yeah, from America, from the
Oh.
U.S. There's been a female. Obviously, we have Tiffany, and then the recent one that's fighting Van Roosmalen is the interim, but there's never been an official champion from the U.S. So that would be a nice goal, my man. It would be a nice goal. Like I keep saying to myself, like, I have those days like what you said is like you have a shitty sparring session, man, fuck this. Or you have a good one and you feel like $1,000,000. That's all just part of it, man. Because for 3 days I'll feel like the best in the world, and for 3 days I feel like I've never done this in my life. And what is the point of it? And both are just normal now. They should just be the norm. But then I look at the grand picture. Sometimes it's good to see where you came from, and you're like, man, I'm in pro for like sometimes I'm complaining about where I am and what I'm doing, and I'm like, man, I'm fighting. Literally, there's no bigger shows in the world that I have fought on for Muay Thai and kickboxing, and I've been at it for like barely over a year as a pro.
Yeah, it's a beautiful life we live, man, and a lot of it has to come down with the grand visions we have for it. We set our goals really high, and so this way we have something to strive for, and that pushes us to know that we can't take any days off. We can't slack off. In Muay Thai and kickboxing is not a game that you play. It's a fucking it's a fight, man. Like you're trying to like hurt people and they're trying to hurt you. And then when it comes down to the life that we're trying to live, I think that's a beautiful thing you said about the camp and how that's gonna really uh kind of direct you in which way to go, because that's another beautiful thing of life is kind of taking the things as they come and knowing that you don't have to make any solid decisions right away, but you can let things kind of just guide you in one form or another. As long as you know your ultimate vision and your ultimate goal, then you're able to kind of take the events that happen, whether they're good or bad, and use them as a gauge to where you should be going next. And yeah, man, I'm super pumped about that camp too. And like you were saying, I think it'll be a good thing that if we do like a weekly or semi-weekly kind of just group chat about various topics on the mental side, the scheduling, the lifestyle, the philosophy that we discuss in the podcast so much, and kind of have like a Muay Thai mastermind group in a sense, because very rarely are we able to shoot these ideas with other people who share the same values and the same passions for life and Muay Thai as we do. And I think it'll be key for our growth. I mean, it's kind of like a selfish thing. Like it's key for our growth to share what we know. So this way we can get feedback from other people and other people's opinions. So this way we can have the beginner's mind and be able to take things from people who haven't been doing this as long and have a different perspective on it. Because when it comes down to it, it's so easy to like, another thing I forget is like I'm living in Thailand fighting Muay Thai right now. And that's normal to us. That's normal to the Muay Thai world. But outside of the Muay Thai world, it's fucking crazy. Like people think I'm fucking nuts, Like, oh my God, you're moving to Thailand to fight Muay Thai? Like I was talking to some of my neighbors before I left. They didn't even like know what I did for a living and everything. And then I tell them what I'm doing for a living. They're like, wow, like that is just crazy. And to us, it's just like, well, no, it's just like what you're supposed to do. So that's what I'm doing. This is what I want to do. So that's what I'm doing. And it's so easy to get like tunnel vision and like too close to our lives and our training, where it's hard to like take a step back and realize what we're doing. Like you said with pro, like you're just like not satisfied where you are right now. Dude, you've been pro for a year. Like what the fuck, We have such high standards for ourselves. It's so easy to like just be like, what the fuck? Like, we're not where we need to be here. But meanwhile, as long as we keep those high standards, it helps us to strive and to work each and every day diligently with focus. So this way we're able to get to those ultimate goals and dreams that we want to.
The stress currently is also taken off in a way, because if my goal is to be the champ and to beat those level of fighters, and that's what I was expecting to be fighting, have it, Troy is an amazing, technician and great opponent. And I think it'll be a great fight for everyone to watch. But the stress of that, in comparison to the guys I'm aiming for, is really nothing. So this fight doesn't intimidate me in the least bit, because in comparison to the fighters that I fought in the past with their experience and level, and the guys that I plan to in the future, comparably, it doesn't really create any type of anxiety and stress for me. I don't feel like it's like it should. I don't know if it's it's not looking past, because obviously I'm focused on the present moment, but my goals are just set much, much higher.
You need that. You need those big lofty goals, because even if you don't reach them, you're gonna get pretty fucking close, and there's gonna be a lot farther than you would if you were to set small goals. Like easy attainable goals, I mean, they have their place because they help build momentum and build confidence and whatnot. But once you got that, man, you better be shooting for the stars. So this way that you land on the clouds at the very least, that corny ass saying. But
yeah, your man Shobo, he was talking about in the podcast, is like, I had this guy doing jump rope, and he would go do like 75 before stopping, let's say. And then he's like, what's your goal in your head? And he's like, oh, I don't know. Like, it's like, all right, so let's set it for 90 before you stop. He's like, okay, all right, get on the rope, let's go. Whatever. It's like, okay, 89, 90, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. Fuck, I can't do more. But it's like, you did 75 before, and now you just did 95 just because you had a fucking goal in mind that was, higher than your original. And that's so true. Like, if you come in without a plan, it's like, oh, I can do kicks. How many kicks am I going to do? If I don't set how many I'm going to do in a row, maybe I can get however many. I'll do 38, and I'm like, fuck, I'm fucking tired. But if coach says, you're fucking doing 50, you're doing 75 before you stop without stopping, or else you're doing burpees for the next 3 minutes, I'm going to do all 50 or 75, most likely.
You find a way to fucking do it, man. There's a untapped power that we all, I hate sounding so corny and stuff, but it's like it's stuff I fucking believe in, man. There's like so much untapped potential in all of us that it's the whole fear of being great, like the fear of being successful, and the fear of having that pressure of being successful.
I was thinking about that. I don't think it's a fear of like the actual success. I think it's realizing that the success fucking takes work. And I think it's a fear of that work that comes with that success.
Yeah, exactly. And when it comes down to it, it's like, it's very intimidating, it's very daunting. But once you are able to accomplish it, that's where true growth comes from. That's where you really learn more about yourself. And that's why I got into Muay Thai in the first place, was to learn more about myself. Because after my first few fights, I learned more about myself in those 3 fights than I have my entire life. And so I was like, yo, if this is how I'm going to grow, even though I'm scared shitless of fighting, like, this is how I have to face my fears and challenge myself to step in the ring and keep growing. Because otherwise I'm going to be stagnant. I'm going to be just like everybody else, and fuck being like everybody else. I want to be something great. I want to live my life as a champion, not just in the ring, but outside the ring as well, and be able to inspire other people to take life by the fucking horns, man, and just like do what the fuck you want. Like, people become a victim of themselves and their environment and their surroundings. And it's so easy to, with the way society is kind of just blueprinted and made up. And it's so easy to just think the same way of your peers and your family when they're thinking just quote unquote realistic ways of making a living and living life. Meanwhile, there's people, that's the beauty about coming to Thailand and traveling and stuff. You meet so many people who are living life differently, living life meaningfully.
Normal.
And yeah, it's so normal. And it gives me such a peace of mind, because back in New York and everything, no one I mean, like that 1%, like you were talking about, that 1% are the only people that can resonate with the philosophies and ways of living that we do. But once we get outside of that, once we travel, it's a much higher percentage that we can actually communicate with, and they'll be on the same wavelength and page when it comes to like, yo, like this is our life. We should be living it the way we want. And I mean, we kind of bounce around a lot of topics. That's why I love this podcast too, man, because we always have like a main topic that we discuss, but it's so easy to dive deeper into it and its meaning. Because we were talking about training twice a day, you know, like whether or not that's good or not, and that kind of just cascaded into all these other ways of thinking and living life. And that's the beauty of Muay Thai and martial arts and everything. It's a tool for life. It really is. It's a way to learn more about yourself and be able to implement what you're learning in the ring and what you're learning in training into your everyday life. And I fucking love Muay Thai for that, man, because without it, I don't know if I'd be able to be as aware of my thoughts, of my surroundings, of my life. And yeah, I love Muay Thai, bro.
Yeah, it's huge. In my head, I would always have visions and ways of creating a story, being in a movie in a way. And the type of creative work I would try to do with video when I was a skateboarder. And I was never good at art. I was never good at like my handwriting and things like that. Just artistically, I wasn't able to put that pen to paper and make something beautiful. But being able to do it now through writing, and I don't think I ever would have gotten into writing. I don't think I ever would have gotten into telling stories. I don't think I would ever get onto a podcast just to speak my mind and philosophy. And I also don't think I would look this deep intrinsically into myself and whatever's going on, even though I did have those visions in my head, if it wasn't for finding something that I was actually passionate about. Because for me, it's just so hard to fake it. I feel like so many people will go into their workplace and they're faking it. You know, it's like just getting through it because, you know, that's a job that needs to be done. And I mean, that's fucking hard on its own. So, you know, you might as well do something hard that you're passionate about because, you know, I think it's actually easier to do it that way.
Yeah, instead of kind of be a robot to the big machine that society is, you know. And I don't mean to be so like cynical about the way society is, but man, like the way normal society is, I don't like it. I don't like being a part of that because most of it, like you said, with the phone, with the way people judge each other, with the way people just kind of switch off and aren't mindful of their actions and what they're doing, it's so easy to conform to that and to get wrapped up in it and then forget about all your goals and all your original thoughts and creative thoughts and then just completely turn that all off. So, yeah, man. I mean, life is crazy, and it's good. It's been good catching up, man. It's always. I know we always say we got to do this more often, but it's been hard with the timing and stuff. But yeah, man, it's always good to chat with you and bullshit because sometimes I still get in my own mind out here, but it's good to bounce ideas off of you and get your opinion as well, and then see the feedback from the people in the comments on Facebook and people who message me and email me about the podcast. So yeah, man, we got to. Try to schedule this out a little bit better.
Yeah, let's look at the next week then, and we'll try to inform everyone, hopefully through email and everything, before we go live on the next one, so people can expect when to catch us. But we definitely want to see you guys in person. It would be best to see you guys at the camps coming up. Again, July and August, we'll be in Thailand. It's at thailandtrainingcamp.com/summer. You can get some free gear if you sign up early. We already have a number of spots that we have deposits for. We have a couple families coming. So for the people asking who it's for, it's essentially everyone. We want to challenge everyone to whatever your level is. And, you know, I'll be training for a fight. Sean will be training for a fight. So for those looking to train for fights, it's going to be good stimulus for you. It's going to be a good challenge, but it's going to be a good time. Hopefully you have a little bit of our personalities by just listening to a podcast. So again, yeah, just thailandtrainingcamp.com/summer. I'm going to be fighting at the World Championships this upcoming May. We're going to have some stuff up at the store on nakmoynation.com/store. It's not up yet, but I have Reaper Squad t-shirts. This is America's Finest on the back because as the A squad, we're going in there, the best of the athletes in America going to Mexico in the World Championships, the ones that are working with the Olympics. So it's supporting the Olympics team. Anything you purchase is going towards that fund because it's about $3,500 that the team does not sponsor, but we're looking to be getting a lot of help from different places locally. So thank you guys for the support. This podcast is actually sponsored and brought to you by Primed Mind. You had us talking with the creator of it, Elliot, speaking about priming your mind before training, after training. I've been using it every time I fucking take a nap because I'm terrible at taking naps and not doing it for 5 hours because I never know where I'm waking up and saying, what fucking year is it? I have no clue what's going on. I'm just going crazy. So it's nice. It takes you through the whole state of going into sleep, and then it slowly wakes you up so you're not freaking out like it's Jumanji and you're born in a different year again. Yeah, if you just go through our link, it's actually we'll have in the podcast notes and we'll throw it in the article. But if you're just listening, it's bit.ly/primed mind free. It's a free app. Download it. You support the podcast by just going through that link, and they just see that we're supporting their app, and you guys get the free download. And what do you have going on and coming up, Sean?
A few things. So finally, since I have this skin disease right now, I've been working a lot more on The Fighter's Body, and that should be released in early April. I'm aiming for April 10th. So if you go to thefightersbody.com, you can sign up for a free 7-day Kickstart program, 7-day challenge that I'm going to be releasing on April 2nd, I believe. I'm not sure of the exact date, but around there. So make sure you go to thefightersbody.com to find out more about that. And then late May, I'll be hosting another retreat in Costa Rica, muaythairetreat.com/Costa Rica. If you're interested in that, we got about 6 or 7 people signed up for that right now, trying to get it up to like 15 because that's usually a good solid group. So if you want to come start your summer off right and train Muay Thai with other like-minded people, make sure you go to that. And then after that, like Paul said, thailandtrainingcamp.com/summer. Going to be doing that training camp in July and August. We have 2, 4, 6, and 8-week options. And we also have like the budget option, but we also have like the beachfront option too. So a lot of different variety for that. And then lastly, I got Greece, muaythairetreat.com/Greece, where first Muay Thai retreat in Greece. Going to be getting married on the last day. So if you come to this retreat, you're also be a part of the Muay Thai guy's wedding. So it's a very unique, one-of-a-kind experience that
Muay Thai guy's wedding?
Yeah.
I thought I was the one getting married, but unfortunately, I guess not. Right. It was. If you guys follow me on Instagram, my stories, it was a dark day for me. It was a really dark day when I came to.
That was dude.
I got this thing in the mail. I have it right here. Them holding hands.
I know, broke your heart. I'm sorry, man. That cracked me the fuck up, though. Made me laughing so hard. But yeah, make sure you can go muaythairetreat.com or muaythaivacations.com, and that has a list of all the upcoming events. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We got obviously a lot of upcoming stuff. Paul's got the fight. I'm going to be fighting in sometime soon as well. So just make sure you keep following us on social media, share the podcast. If you get a chance to leave a review, greatly appreciated. This way we can give you a shout out. If you did leave a review and we didn't get to you today, apologize about that. We're having issues with the review app, but yeah, we'll get back to you. Reviews are always much appreciated, and any type of input or suggestions for upcoming podcast episodes is always good as well. So yeah, anything else, Paul?
Just good to catch up again, man. Really, it's just good to catch up again. Make sure you guys are staying in tune. Again, yeah, leave us that review, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Again, we're going to be back at it. Hopefully next episode you'll see with Chris Malseri, and then he has a fight coming up on Lion Fight. It's going to be fun. And then we'll be back at it with Sean, and maybe we'll talk about what happened at Gloria LA. So looking forward to chatting with you guys again. Much love. Thank you, Muay Thai community, Nak Muay Nation. Have a beautiful day.